broke the spirit of the people, allowed terrorism, banditry, courtism, and all manners of insufferable criminality to pervade the land and overwhelm the people. The Bola Tinubu presidency seemed to have lost its way completely. Bemused as it is, as the land lay prostrate and hurting. The military, therefore, the top generals are saying, hello, we are lions maybe in our winter, but we have a voice, a stake as patriots, that this country will not go under.
See, please do me a favor. Watch this video to the end and listen to everything this man say, oriental or dental. You know when this man speak, he pour out his wholeheartedly, he speak volume. Listen to what he said, what is going on, and if Tinubu is just being too proud, by now he's supposed to have surrendered to come to say he has failed, all his policies has failed. He's ready to resign. Nigerians should forgive him for the damages that he has done less than 2 years in office. Let me not bore you with this. Take your time, watch this video to the end, and please do me a favor to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now only this channel you feel watch message like this.
Continuous hunger and hardship in Nigeria. The most recent voice is that of the former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, who declared that the present hardship confronting Nigerians is beginning to get out of control, and he called on the federal government to remedy the situation immediately. General Abubakar made this declaration when he received the leadership of the Campaign for Democracy and Human Rights, led by Comrade Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi, in his seat of residence in Minna, Niger State. The group had called on the former head of state to prevail on President Bola Tinubu to remedy the situation in the country. However, a climate of fear and repression seems to be enveloping the land, despite the treasonable charges slammed on some protesters, coupled with security operatives' intimidation of the Nigerian Labour Congress, the media, and the civil society. The question is, where are we headed? And what can be done to avert a negative reaction usually caused by hunger and hardship? Joining us now on this morning show, founding National Secretary of Alliance for Democracy, AD, and a distinguished fellow of the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. Good morning, Professor Udenta, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
I didn't have Professor Udenta.
Oh, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Prof.
I'm happy to present myself. Yes, I'm happy to present myself before the Three Musketeers. So it's my pleasure for you to have me this morning.
Thank you, Prof. Well, we keep hearing, voices, concerned Nigerians saying that the country is facing a lot of hardship and that the government must do something about this. Well, the government says it is offering hope, renewed hope initiatives, palliatives. Even ministers have now been given 1,200 bags of rice to go and distribute. But some people say, no, it is not enough. They are even threatening to go on strike on October 1. They call it #Fearless in October. Well, Prof, what's your own assessment of the state of the nation at this moment? Are the people asking for too much? And what's your assessment of government's promise and effort in the direction of addressing the people's concerns?
I will start from a very symbolic picture, iconic picture that came out some days ago. 3 generals, 3 heads of state, former heads of state, General Olusegun Obasanjo, let me leave chief out of it for now, General Ibrahim Babangida, and General Abdulsalami Abubakar, who transitioned this country from the last phase of military despotism to civilian governance, which we are still witnessing. Took a picture that was very iconic. And for the first time in a number of years, the nation saw IBB, as he's fondly called, standing erect, ramrod. He's been on limited mobility for some time. Pictures don't lie, on wheelchair, but they saw him standing, and standing, firmly with his colleagues, former heads of state and former generals. A few days after that, General T.Y. Danjuma, Chief of Army Staff 50-odd years ago, and the First Minister of Defense, 1999, issued a direct warning to the military hierarchy and said, time to sit up and confront and vanquish terrorism and banditry. No more time for excuses. No more excuses should be tolerated. A day or so after, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, the last former head of state, not known for weighing in so much on the Nigerian condition, came out with a very evocative statement. The land is hurting and the people are bitter and hungry. He made it very clear. 1, there's no money in people's pocket. School fees have skyrocketed. Fuel scarcity and high price of even the product itself. Transportation costs beyond the reach of the people. In essence, the government should have its ears wide open and listening. He ended his statement with some sort of a nuance. 1, The people, even when they protest, should protest within the bounds of the law, peaceful, constitutional, and safely, and not resort to violence. But most crucially, that the government must permit dissent, even if it is 1st October or beyond, when people want to pour out in the streets in thousands of millions across the country, expressing their discontentment and angst about the state of the nation. The historical context is very ominous. By 1998, the military was morally exhausted and institutionally broken. Abacha, who led them on this perfidious path, lay dead. A month later, Chief M.K. Abiola won election in 1994. Equally lay dead. There was time for a reset for the country, and that occurred quickly. The military top brass outsmarted the civilian wing of the political elite, led by Dr. Leslie, the former vice president, and installed Chief Obasanjo as a president, who populated his inner core in the presidency with the military generals. General Ali Uguzo, Chief of NSA, General Bulahi Mohammed, Chief of Staff, and General Danjuma, Minister of Defense. The idea was for the military to guide this nation on that course of coming out from that combustible period into a new dawn. And that in 24, 25 years, democracy will have been strengthened, consolidated, and deepened. Today, the result is awful. The Buhari 8 years intensified national contradictions, broke the spirit of the people, allowed terrorism, banditry, courtism, and all manners of insufferable criminality to pervade the land and overwhelm the people. The Bola Tinubu presidency seems to have lost its way completely, bemused as it is, as the land lay prostrate and hurting. The military, therefore, the top generals are saying, hello, we are lions maybe in our winter, but we have a voice, a stake as patriots, that this country will not go under. If the presidency is imploding, the rest of the country should implode with it. So it is time for the country and the leader of this nation down to take a stock. The past 1.5 years have gone down unfairly and unjustly for the people. There's so much they have taken and so little left for them to take. People can no longer move from end to end. Cars are parked on the road. Children are being pulled from school. People have no money to even pay bandits or terrorists and the kidnappers and abductors who hunt the land every day. It is therefore crucial that rhetoric will not do the job for this government. What will do the job will be to roll their sleeves. If there's anything left for them to roll. What is left for this president and his team is to call a spade and say, you have governed like a predator from the margins and periphery of the political state.
Okay.
Therefore, you have lost the political plot.
All right. All right.
That is my take at this stage.
All right. So, according to you, this administration has lost the political plot. Well, you've been able to analyze and detail some of the challenges facing the nation at the moment. But let's look at the way forward. One of the proposals by the former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, is saying that
the communication is a little bit scratchy. But if I got it right, Ayo,
yes,
I said that I'm analyzing the state of the nation.
Yes, the way forward. Yes, but I wanted to just point out
for
to you.
Policy wonks.
Okay,
doesn't believe so much in policy.
Professor Udenta, can you hear me?
It is simply to examine the policies already thrown into the public space, into the governance space, and know whether those policies have done the job, and then change gear. But I have a different take. My understanding is that if you don't get the political plot, you never get the economic plot. The foundation of every social order is contestation for values, for scarce resources, and so on. That means economy is at the base of human interaction and human intercourse. But every economic crisis or conflict is political in nature. That's why political economy drives economic decisions. President Bola Tinubu has lost the political state. I've said it repeatedly. I put out a piece weeks and weeks ago. If you find generals who are today standing erect and saying there's a problem in the country, this former president who belonged to the Council of State that the other day said gave you, some sort of, breathing space, coming out to say the country is prostrate. You must therefore understand that if you don't get the political order right, the organized political system right, you can never get the economic system right. I talked about reaching out even to those you contested election with. I talked about building bridges across different and multiple frontiers. Look at labor. It's an integral part of Nigerian state. But labor today is hassled from left to right and the president embattled. Look at civic space. They're supposed to be an inclusive part of this new order that the president said is building. But they're not there. Many of them are languishing in jail, accused of treason and treasonable felony charges and subversion. So the entire country is not prepared and ready to accept any kind of economic program. If you get the politics right, I can talk about the economic programs, and they're clear. You started on the false premise. One, fuel subsidy is gone. We don't even know what the subsidy is all about, but they say it is gone. And as you spoke during the segment on the business segment, the ripple down effect, the knockdown effect was massive. Everything went, crazy. The price of foodstuff, the price of the commodities, the price of drugs, the price of transportation, everything completely was upended. He did not give the people even a break for a week or two. He went on with the flotation to say, we close down the windows. close down the windows of the forex, and then put everything into one package. And from that time to now, your neoliberal agenda has gone haywire, completely crazy and out of sync with reality. So you have to take a pause and say, one, is it too late for me on October 1st, that moment in history when you have another speech to deliver? The last speech was...
Professor Denta?
The last speech, yes.
Oh, great. So you can hear us now. Professor Denta, can you hear us? All right, let's take a quick break so we can...
I can hear you, but it's a little bit of noise in the background.
Okay, all right, okay, brilliant. I was just trying
echo.
to...
My voice is echoing back to me.
They're sorting that out. Our technical team are working on that currently. But whilst you hold that thought, I just wanted to ask you, the question I was asking earlier was around the specific recommendation by General Abdulsalami Abubakar in his piece, where he said that palliatives would not solve the problem. And that is that this government should have more creative ways of meeting the needs of Nigerians. One of such is government buying food, selling it at a cheaper rate to Nigerians. Do you agree with that? I want some very specific things in your estimation that this administration can do to address some of the challenges that you've identified.
On a different show, long before General Abdulsalami Abubakar spoke, I said that palliative is even insulting. It's not even whether palliative will work or not. It's even an insult to Nigerians to speak about palliatives in a country with plenty, and a country that is people are productive and people are giving their all to the system and talking about palliatives. You don't even know what these palliatives are in terms of measurable, metrics of actually how many palliatives, who are going to distribute it. You don't even have a comprehensive, texted, verifiable, authentic social register to say who are the household benefiting from the palliatives, who are the millions of people who are going to line up and then collect loads of bread and the tin and possibly cups of rice and beans and gari and so on. That is sheer humiliation and sheer dehumanization. So off with palliatives. It will not work. So I agree with General Abdulsalami Abubakar that palliatives will not work. It has never worked anyway. It didn't work for the 8 years of Buhari regime. It will not work now, and it's not working. Secondly, if you want to solve the problem as quickly as possible, the first thing you have to do, like General Abubakar pointed out, is how do you, as a government, as a president, and as a team, find out using the ministries and agencies and institutions available to you in which you are in charge to say, where is it hurting the people most? Taxation. People believe that even for subsidy removal is taxation. People believe that the many taxations in the electronic mode of transmitting money and so on. People believe that the taxation on the power sector is massive. People believe that VAT should even be brought down. So when the people are overtaxed, the little they earn will not even be enough for them to survive by the day. So the multiple taxation frontiers must be closed now and managed in such a way that the people have breathing space. So that whatever little money they have will be meaningful to them. Secondly, is fuel supply and the price in itself. The unfortunate thing is that having priced labor is to such a degree that the president of labor is even being accused of treason and treasonable felony. Labor issued a statement about the latest increase in the prices of petroleum products and said the president betrayed labor. But beyond that, nothing has happened. You need to remove the last increase because there's no justification for it. If you do that, possibly the price of transportation will come down, the price of foodstuff may come down a little bit, the list can go on and on. But for me, the president has tried to throw in as many policies as possible into the system. These policies are not working and they will never work. The first thing is that if you do not want to listen to people and expand the horizon of presidential governance and then service delivery, there is nothing you will touch that is going to be productive and valuable to the people. That is actually the crisis we have today.
Okay. Prof, good to see you. I have been reading a book,
It's a pleasure.
I want everybody to go get that book. Very incisive book by Dr. Yemi Ogunbe, Encounter with World Leaders, and a very apt interview he had in the 80s with Walemo, Julius Nyerere, where he was talking about the IMF.
Yes, Walemo.
And Walemo said, the IMF has one pill for every problem. That's removal of subsidy. And go and check IMF everywhere in the world. The IMF never thinks of dealing with the structural problem of every economy. Just like where Nigeria is today. Nigeria has a hitherto deficient economic structure that produces nothing, but the IMF had the temerity to tell a country that produces nothing to float its currency and leave it against market forces. And you know that if you don't produce, there is no way your currency can self-regulate itself. It's just like leading a lamb to the guillotine and unleashing the guillotine and expecting the lamb not to die. Today we've gone from 600-700 naira to over 1,000 naira as we speak. The second point is the removal of subsidy, which is key, petrol subsidy, because petrol affects every area. The corruption that goes on, the Ngwogwo dance that is now happening between Dangote and NNPC. These two cardinal problems are the major cause of the depressive state of the Nigerian economy. How can we tell President Tinubu, please reverse, you are killing the people? Because the damage is made now will take many years to fix. I hear we need to go on a break. Okay, after your answer, we go on that break.
Okay, the summary is brilliantly, put across. First and foremost, you can only tell a man who wants to listen to you. For the past 15 months, it is clear to everybody who cares to understand that this president and his team are listening to nobody but to themselves. And when you listen to yourself, you belong to what is called a mutual admiration club. You think that what you're doing is so fantastic, but the rest of the world, you're completely disconnected, cut loose from them and their reality. So I don't know what is going to happen for him to listen. Apparently, he has not listened the first day he turned out the removal of subsidy. He has not listened the day he was in China when he talked about, I heard there's a news floating around that the price of products, petroleum products, has even increased. So casually. He's not listening because he put out a speech when people are protesting that is insufferably deficient in proclamations, in narratives, and some clear guidance of what to do. You talk about the IMF. The journey started precisely 1986 or 1987, the Structural Adjustment Program. That's an IMF PL. The new liberal mandate is actually to decapitate the social order of the state. The responsibility of the state to protect citizens. They want the state to retreat. And as you said, economy that is not productive, you don't want to do what? Overcheck that economy in ways that man cannot withstand it. Everywhere in the world, from the 70s and 80s, look at 1980, when we had the Olympic Games boycotted by US against Russia. What happened? America had to pay billions to their farmers in order to burn the products they produced but could not sell. Today, farmers are protected. Today, you have a lot of tariffs across the Western world against China, against other nations, to protect vulnerable groups. In a sense, therefore, if you want to apply the neoliberal mechanism of managing the economy, it will not work. It's not worked anywhere. It's not going to work in Nigeria. It actually will bring disaster, as already we are witnessing the disaster on multiple fronts, in terms of human empowerment, in terms of dividends to democracy.
Professor Denta,
yes,
so sorry to interject here, but we need to go on a quick break. When we
Founding National Secretary of Alliance for Democracy and a distinguished fellow, Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. Professor Denta, well, I've listened carefully to you, but I will try to rephrase the question I asked you the other time in another way. You and President Tinubu, you used to be allies, Alliance for Democracy, progressive politics, and all that. Now you are there in Abuja with him, a fellow of the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. Have you sought, an opportunity to meet with the president and to share some of these ideas with him? Or are you one of those persons saying, we don't have access to the president, we know him, so we'll go on television and criticize him? Because these are ideas you can share more, one-on-one, or through the instrumentality of the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought.
Now, your question is very important. Dr. Ruben, you've been in this system for long. People perceive you as a media man, but they're beyond the media man. You're an academic, you're a scholar. And a week or so back, you were pressed so much that you said, this government may be giving a bad name to a proud nation called the Yoruba people, if I'm putting you right. That the former president is already in Daura, bellowing with laughter, that the people manage the economy very well, such a resounding history of managing economic systems, have fallen flat on their face. Because this country is imploding in all directions. You have a little bit of assets like myself, but I don't know whether you exploit that assets too, and then see what way that gets you. They run an account for Yoruba land. Issued an open letter to the president, timely warning, almost as if you don't speak for the Yoruba people. You and your team in Abuja, we don't know what you're doing. You're giving everybody a bad name. Look at Festus Adeda, you're a brilliant columnist. He said, this president and his team here, we don't know what they represent and who they represent. Alliance for Democracy was a carefully constructed, pro-democracy front with some civic intent in getting this country going, with the death of Abacha and Abiola and the formation of a new political order. That mission was accomplished at the initial stage, but ultimately was consumed by contradictions generated from within. That Alliance for Democracy is not all APC. That was formulated by President Bola Tinubu and former President Buhari, 2012, 2013, with the rest of others. This one is an SPV, it's a special purpose vehicle. There's no ideological clarity. There's no moral drive or moral imperative. There's no political philosophy underpinning its mode of governance. That is why you find under Buhari an intensification of national contradictions, economic, social, security. And under the Tinubu presidency, the heightening of those even intensified contradictions. Where do we begin? And I talked last time about contamination of the political system. From AT to AC to ACN to APC. There's a loosening of that moral fiber in terms of the way politics is played. There's a weakening of even the administrative organism of a party. Today, you don't have APC as a party. You don't have APC as an assemblage of somebody in the Senate, a Senate president, who said, I will do the bidding of the president, whether it is good or bad, whether it is right or wrong. You find the other half of the National Assembly almost non-existent. You find the ministers afraid to even speak out and even defend the system. Now, the other type of change that will occur, I've said it in several frontiers too, is you see a leader in the past who may be prepared to listen, who may be prepared to engage in contestation of ideas, who may be prepared to say, I may be wrong here, lead me this way, give me a position paper on things, 20-something odd years. And you can find a leader say, today I know it all. I'm a master of the universe. That means if a leader is in some sort of a God mode, it is difficult to now find the space to say, you're omnipotent, you're omniscient, and omnipresent. Where is the space to intervene? There is no space. That is why leaders, including generals in their prime, are talking. That is why PDP find today doing an incredible amount of work, Labour Party to come together. The BOT, the Governors Forum, the NWC, moving around and saying, the country is facing grave danger. We're almost on the verge of the precipice. What do we do to rescue this country? Is by rescuing the political state, by reforming the political parties, and coming together to see whether we can confront this present danger that the country is facing.
All right, so we're in face of present danger, according to you, but the president has said that perhaps the challenge is that people are not patient, that the policies he's introduced need time to, for Nigerians to begin to see the effect of it, that he inherited a bad economy from the previous administration, even though from the same party, but that they came into almost an empty, the coffers were empty, and what they're trying to do is they're on a rescue mission, and the Nigerians ought to be patient. What do you say about that? Do you think it's lack of patience, and the Nigerians should be able to make more sacrifice, or go on?
First and foremost, I said on this very studio, on this very program, and other programs too, that Senator Bola Tinubu will run as a third term Muhammad Buhari. They could join. I said it is like the goat skin bag holding the goat head. If you cut off the head of a goat, you have a goat skin bag, it enters there. The two are conjoined, they can't separate themselves. When they formed this party, one became a president when they won, and one became a national leader. A national leader is to provide a moral compass in which a government operates. It's almost like the conscience of the party. So Bola Tinubu was the leader of APC for 8 years under Buhari's watch, but they govern this country together. They are doing this separation because of the way the system has completely unraveled under their watch. They say, oh, it is not us, it is a Muhammad Buhari. No, you're all part and parcel of that APC that took power in 2015. That's number one. Let it be on record. Don't separate this regime, this current one from the previous one. It's not going to work empirically. Secondly, is that we have a saying in my place that we take eye, use your eye, speak it in Nigerian English, to know the corn where ripe. You don't need to pinch it. A policy that will work in a month or two. It doesn't take a gestation period of a year or 2 or 3 to work. And again, the political environment with this contestation framework will even not permit you to have all the time in the world. Let me let out a secret. In the past, you used to have presidential primaries conducted around December before the next election, meaning you have less than 2-3 months to now do the campaign and the whole election. Now, as the case may be, from the experience of 2022, you have the primaries between May and June 2026. That means people want to contest for the presidency who have thrown their hat in the ring by December 2025. That's almost just a year down the line. This president, therefore, has only 1 year to govern effectively. So what time does it want people to now have? If you make a mistake, climb down from your high horse, this comment as a team, and tell the world on October 3rd that we made a mistake for the past 16, 17 months. It is now time for course correction. It is now time to find that inner strength in despair and in defeat to say, my policies are not working, I have to change course. I have to build from the center. I have to incorporate ideas from employers, employees, my political opponents, from civil society, from labor. Let us implicate the whole nation. It's been done in the past. Implicate the whole nation in governance. What's implicate the whole nation in governance? By including everybody in the space of governance, things will begin to improve. If you simply want to do it your way, because somebody is in a God mode, things are not, I think, going to persist in the state of despair we find ourselves in this country today.
All right, well, thank you.
After you listening to this, that is it. Now, after listening to this video, you still believe that Tinubu is going to face this country. Tinubu is going to change anything in this country. In fact, maybe you not get listening here. When all the former head of state, they are talking, they are issuing as in big statements. Those statements, those people when they speak, it carry weight, right? They are running out of patience for Tinubu. Now, should be all of them don't see. Everybody don't collect. Everybody don't collect. All the former head of state, military head of state, all of them, they are issuing a statement that Tinubu, they don't know what he's doing. Tinubu should reverse. Tinubu should reverse. None of those policies is working and they can never work. This man has said something. What I said to you that in my video. He said, this man, I repeat, that Tinubu have less than 1 year in office to govern effectively. After 2025, election election against 2027 don't start. They don't have time for election. So leave all this patient talk. Tinubu asking you to be patient. If you still get hope for Tinubu, in fact, if you don't get listening ear, you don't lost. You lost at the middle. So this is the truth. This is the reality. Damage. Tinubu has come to cause Nigerian pains. This is just the reality. Anyways, please, you listen, you heard him. Share this video. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel now.